Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, we're going to talk about some plants from the Sunset Plant Collection. I've come to California to do that with Nicholas Stadden from Everde Growers. He's been in a few videos at this point. We're also going to have Tom Foley in the video. We're just going to cover some things from the Sunset Plant Collection. Can you give the viewers some idea of what the Sunset Plant Collection is and why it's important to folks?
Great question.
Yeah.
So the Sunset Plant Collection covers the 14 western states primarily. Mostly California, and it's perennials. There's some woody ornamentals and there's some tropicals in there as well. Some of you might have seen the video on the brand new mandevillas, which is particularly exciting, but it's plants which are regionally significant for us.
Right, so some of those might be for drought resistance, some of them might be for disease resistance, whatever it is, they're very specific for this region.
Yes, we're privileged to work with a lady called Janet Sluice, who runs the program in California. Yep. And Janet and her team have done a terrific job of plant selection, and we've been involved in the program now for 4-5 years, something like that.
Right.
And as growers, we love it. There's lots of exciting things coming on board.
Yeah.
And for you, gardeners watching today, it's really the best of the best. There's some unique varieties for you all to work with. Not only in-ground plants, but container plants as well.
Well, let's talk about one that I've shown off from our Raleigh garden that's very significant for you guys out here in the western part of the country is Agapanthus, right?
This plant is a smoker.
Yeah.
I have two words that just, when a plant is knocked out of the ballpark, one is a whiz banger and the other is a smoker. And this is a whiz banger and a smoker all combined.
Yes.
So I have to be honest with you, right? Yeah. Well, we grow lots of different varieties of Agapanthus here in Southern California. Everywhere.
Yeah.
So when Janet came to us and said, we've got a brand new line of Agapanthus, I have to say we were not terribly excited. Tom, who you've seen on the videos, took the program and moved forward with it, and we have been absolutely enthralled. It is a brilliant series called Ever. There's a white, there's a bicolor, sapphire. This one is called Amethyst. This is the first purple Agapanthus in the world. There's nothing like it. It's extraordinary in many respects, but the most is we see this blooming in January in California, which is unheard of for Agapanthus, and they'll go right the way through till mid-late summer. Deadheading is important, and the other great thing is you can use these as cut flowers.
Right.
They're great.
So another thing on this Ever series that we'll see on some of the spent flowers over there is that they're not holding on to those seeds.
Which is so important. Because of that, you'll get more buds and blooms in your garden.
Right.
It's a great observation.
Yeah. So for us, you will have seen these on our Raleigh garden. It's important though for us. It's not the cold that necessarily kills these for us. It's the actual wet.
Oh, the moisture.
So when they're asleep in the wintertime, here you don't necessarily have that issue.
Yeah.
But for us, they go completely to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're under the ground in our clay soils, and it's flat. And so we've just mounded them up. We mix in a little bit of extra pine bark soil conditioner in with them, and we're able to get these to come out of the winter. And
you make a berm.
Yeah, we basically grow them on a slight berm.
Terrific.
But we have Ever White. This is Ever Amethyst. This entire series. Any of them that start with Ever. Yeah. They're just incredible.
They're
plants.
Really good.
Yeah.
And and I hear whispers, and I tend to have loose lips, right? I hear whispers that there might be other colors coming in the collection. Yeah. So don't say anything.
Okay, I won't.
All right, because I can't keep it secret.
Nobody will know.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other fun thing, Agapanthus originally come from South Africa. That's where they're native. And in this part of the world, we're very much into what we call the Mediterranean climate. So plants from New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, South America, California, and the Mediterranean region, we use these in our gardens. And this plant is just a breakthrough. Everyone loves it.
Tom, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Tom Foley. I'm the Director of Product Development at Everde Growers.
Okay, so as part of product development, you're looking for new things to add, and in the Sunset Plant Collection here, you've got some new mandevillas coming.
Yeah, we're really excited about that, and that's what I do. I look for new plants. New is important for our customers, and it's critically important for our consumers. We want them to enjoy plants and be very successful with them.
Right, and cutting maintenance down, cutting irrigation down, anything you can find that helps.
No spraying. We know not to use pesticides or insecticides. We don't want any. We want plants that are healthy, vigorous, grow really well, and have a lot of flowers.
So we're not ready here to sell. You're not ready to sell this crop of this Sangria series. Is that what it is of Mandevillas? Tell us what is going to make these unique.
Sure. So these are a new series of Mandevillas Sangria in the Sunset program, and what we like about them is the floriferousness. That means a lot of flowers.
Right. So a lot of flowers. Really this is tiny little plants already,
flowers, right?
And there are tons of flowers on them. Yeah.
Yeah. These got newly planted. You know, so we got to grow them. Like we have to grow everything, right?
Yeah, right.
Until they're ready to sell, and these will be beautiful. Pretty soon. They'll be in the market pretty soon.
So in the spring, possibly in the spring, you might be selling these. Okay, beautiful. Thanks. One of our absolute favorites that we've had in the Raleigh garden sent to us in the last few years was this Platinum Beauty Lamandra.
Right.
Tell us about this, because this is an important plant for you guys here.
For us in California, we have we're in a Mediterranean climate, low water, doesn't rain in the summer. That is our natural. Yeah. And so we look for plants that don't need to be irrigated a lot. Right? Water is a precious resource for us. So Lamandra Platinum Beauty, it does that. It establishes easily, quickly. It's perfect for mass plantings. It's evergreen, and yet with this beautiful white variegation, it really pops in the landscape.
Yeah, and I've noticed even for like a grower, these things actually finish a little faster than you would think. I mean, they look like they're
a durable, sturdy plant for us as a grower because they're very easy to grow, which is important for us, and it's just as easy for that homeowner or the landscape architect. When we see this planted in commercial landscapes by the thousands sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, what was beautiful is we started this video with Nicholas with the agapanthus, and we chose this spot because the purple agapanthus flowers contrasted so well with this grass. So everything's going to contrast with this.
Yeah, everything really, they play well together.
Yeah.
And that's what we notice in the Sunset program as well, is that the plants that we have in the Sunset plant collection all do well together. They like the same climate and the same soil types, and the Lamandra Platinum Beauty is one of those great star plants.
Right. So for us, and I'm going to translate some of these things to the Raleigh garden because you may see this in a Southern Living plant collection container. Same thing with the Ever Amethyst and a few of the other things we might see. For us in Zone 8A in Raleigh, an 8A winter can kill this thing, can kill it, but we only have to protect it a few nights to keep it, and we just have to keep it from being wet in the winter time. But Steph and I carried one of these over for 2 consecutive winters in Raleigh and left it as a container plant. Perfect. So don't shy away from this thing wherever you see it, even outside of this area, because it's just such, like you said, a vibrant plant.
And as a container plant, because it doesn't need a lot of water, it is perfect for you in Raleigh.
Right, and we keep it.
Yeah, if you forget to water it, it's okay.
Right,
it just keeps going.
And slightly root bound is probably better, almost. Yes. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely.
We introduced the video with Nicholas in the Ever series of agapanthus, but there's another one in the Sunset collection. It's quite striking.
This is beautiful. This is one called Summer Sky. It's from our own breeding program here at Everde Growers. What we like about it is that variegation.
The variegation's unbelievable. Yeah.
You get to, it's evergreen, and they get to have that colorful foliage year round. That is it.
Nice. What are the flowers like on this one?
Powder pale blue, just like we see on regular Agapanthus africanus.
So how long for you in this area, how you know, because they're evergreen here, for us, and you know, on the margins they'll kind of go to sleep a bit more.
Right.
They kind of go to sleep ugly, unfortunately for us. They don't want to go to sleep. They just get slammed in Raleigh. But here, how soon would they be blooming if they're evergreen?
These will bloom right around June every year.
Okay, so June. So
June,
it's kind of peak summer, where the Ever series is getting out much earlier.
April.
Okay.
And the Ever series blooms until September, October.
Gotcha.
So it's a much longer blooming than this. Is really more of a beautiful foliage plant. And agapanthus, as we were talking earlier, they're just durable.
Right.
They're just easy to, once you get them established, low water. This will take shade as well. Afternoon shade, perfect.
Nice, and that's where we see a lot of them. We see them in Florida too, typically in a lot of shade. But this would look great with that Ever Amethyst in the ground together, with the green and the variegated together, and the purple, the more floriferous version over there together.
That would be
they would look great.
That's a great combination.
We couldn't ride past this without talking about it. This is a beautiful society garlic, and smell.
You smell a little garlic
I
today,
do smell
don't
a little
you?
garlic. Yeah, and you can't ride past it without smelling it. Go ahead. Let's talk about this society garlic.
First off, this guy is a great plantsman. And we were driving past it and we forgot to mention it. And Jim said, "What is that beautiful purple plant over there?" So Jim, thank you for that. This is a society garlic. It's a cultivar selection from one of our legacy companies from our own breeding program called Purplelicious. Isn't that a great name?
It's a perfect name.
Yeah,
for it
the botanical name is Tulbaglia, society garlic. And I'm told you can eat every part of the plant. In ground in the warmer regions, it does spread, it'll get quite large, but what you see is what you get. These beautiful amethyst, soft-colored purple flowers rise above the plant. They're probably about 12 to 15 inches tall. Great for a container, perennial garden.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a rockery, right, these would be great in amongst a rockery. They go very well with any other perennial you can imagine. So it's handsome. Green leaf, like sage center leaf with purple edges.
So what makes this thing so unique is it's basically variegated with a pink stripe. You know, where we would think it's got, you know, where we think about variegation as being off-white or yellow or whatever. This thing has literally got a pink stripe in it, and it creates this purple hue to it. You guys gave it the perfect name. You know, not just for flower color, but for the foliage.
Purplelicious.
And I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera, but if you were standing here looking at it, it's just this incredible, it's different colors depending on how you're looking at it and different how the light's shining on it.
It does, it's pretty.
Yeah, one plant that I was super excited about, I saw this in full bloom at CAST at the California Spring Trials, and it seemed like every bee for 100 miles had found it in full bloom. Tell us about this lavender.
Sure, this is a Spanish lavender called Plum Power. We love this plant, but it's got flower power on plum power.
Yes, right.
It is a flowering machine. Dark flowers, fragrant foliage, low water use, you know, like other lavenders.
Right. So it's a perfect southwestern plant. We can attempt, you know, lavenders in Raleigh and the humidity, but we've got to mound them up. We have to have great drainage. Maybe it's probably a better container plant overall. But when this thing, so when do you think this is flowering? I can see, you know, it's budded now.
Starting to bud
in
up.
November.
So we're going to see March, April, May, June. We'll see the flowering.
Okay, gotcha. And will they bud up again like they're doing now? And
then we'll get just like what we're seeing now, flowers just starting to emerge. But we're going into winter.
Right.
So by the time we walk out of winter, which was March for us, February, March, they'll start blooming.
So there's a lot of different growth habits on these Spanish lavenders. How's this one going to look in the landscape?
It'll grow out and then up. So we're going to get breath, which means more flowers, right?
Right.
And just a lot of flower power on this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The one I saw in the container earlier this year was probably, in an older container, was about 3 feet wide and only about a foot and a half tall.
Yeah, that's what we're
pretty
seeing.
accurate?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. And very richly colored, plum colored flower.
Yes. I love how it pops against this slightly bluish, typical Mediterranean foliage.
Blue-gray.
That blue-gray
foliage is awesome. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Nicholas, there's 2 aloes in the Sunset Plant Collection, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we have both of them at our house in Raleigh, and I'll talk a little bit about how we maintain them in Raleigh.
Yes.
Why don't you talk about the benefits of them out here in the Southwest?
Sounds good.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Do it.
Thank you.
Yes.
So this is Safari Rose, Aloe Safari Rose. They're native to South Africa, so a nice Mediterranean plant. And all the breeding was done in South Africa as well. And I'm standing here with this magnificent posy, right, of these aloe flowers. I love them because look at the tall stems, so they're great cuts. And the other really unusual thing about these 2 varieties is that they will actually branch further down the stem as well. So not only do you get a flower at the top, but you get a flower down the bottom as well. The color speaks for itself. So in California, they're in the ground or they are in a container. They tend to be autumn, winter, very early spring bloomers. That's when they really do their stuff. So they're great because not much else is going on in the garden. Once they're established, which is a year, they're established very quickly. You're probably going to water them about once every 7 to 10 days, something like that. Yep. Very water-wise, in ground or in a container. Fertilization once every 40, 50 days. They really don't require a lot of fertilizer. They're very tolerant of all different types of soils except clay, so they need to be well drained. And interestingly enough, those of you on recycled water or near the ocean, they seem to do pretty well with some salinity in the water as well. So that's fine. So Safari.
This is Safari Rose.
Safari Rose.
Yes.
Hello, Safari Rose.
And we'll go up and look at the other one in just a second. So in our Raleigh garden, we leave these as container plants. You mentioned the clay and then also the cold, but one thing I'd like to tell folks that have aloes in the Southeast or someplace where you have to bring them in as a house plant, and they do make great house plants, is they need this chill. They need this fall chill in order to flower. So if you take these in when you took in all your house plants a month ago or longer ago, you may not see very many flowers on them. So we leave them out, let them get down to near a frost or freeze, and that triggers this flowering for us. And then they'll come into full flower just like they will for you. And then what Steph and I will typically do then is once they're fully budded and they're in full bud, we'll bring it in the house.
Terrific.
And it'll come into full flower as a house plant. But both of these varieties are fantastic. Let's take a look at the other one real quick.
One more thing before I forget, and I'm noticing it with the plant you're holding, they pup. They pup from the base. So give them some room to grow out. But aren't these spectacular?
They are. So we looked at Safari Rose over there. Tell us the difference between it and Safari Sunrise.
Safari Sunrise is shorter, more compact. These guys have probably got 20-inch stems. These chaps here are probably about 12 to 15, something like that. Top of the flower is redder, more orange, and then it comes down to this beautiful butter yellow color as well. Lots of florets on them, so great for cuts again. The plant itself is more compact, a smaller plant, and I'm looking at the crop here. The leaves or the straps are a little bit on the greener side.
Beauty of these are you see there are honeybees coming from everywhere on these. We've left ours in the same container for 3 years on our Safari Sunrise. I've yet to replant it. It's kind of pot bound. It blooms like crazy. It just doesn't need anything. It's like one of the easier house plants that we own. Because we're treating it as an indoor-outdoor plant, whereas in California, obviously, they're in the ground. But look at these. Look at the color you get on this at a time of year when
nothing else is going on.
Everything else is retreating, and these are coming into flower.
Jim, talk to us about indoor care.
It's really about not overwatering. Once you get these in the house, they need a bright window and they need to dry out between waterings. That's the main thing. But this is the plant that you can put in a container and take an actual vacation.
Wow, nice, easy plant.
A lot of things you put in containers, it feels like you're married to them all summer, right?
Agreed.
But this you can kind of walk away from and ignore a bit, and it kind of thrives on that little bit of abuse. So I think this is one of the more remarkable things in plant breeding in my lifetime. These are hens and chicks, and how far they've actually come from these little diminutive things that maybe your grandmother had.
That's why they're called hens and chicks. You got all the little chicks. And this is Super Simps.
Super Simps.
And that's well named. I mean, they're big.
And they're small, and these are newly planted ones that we're looking at in these containers. But we'll take a look at a couple of them a little further up, or Steph can show them in the B-roll. So tell us who can grow these, how they perform in the garden.
They are one of the amazing plants. They are zone 3 through 10.
It's unbelievable.
Now, zone 3, where it's cold, they need drainage. That's the hook on it. They need sharp drainage. So even for where you live in Raleigh, these are perfect as a house plant or in a patio or in a container in the garden. They need very little water. And same thing for us. I mean, we don't get a lot of rain. We have no rain in the summer, and these are just indestructible plants.
It's unbelievable how far not only have we come with the size of these, but also the colors that are now in them. So how many are in this collection?
Sure. So we've got some beautiful burgundies. We've got a green. We've have a couple of cultivars in here, a rust-colored one. So that different colored foliage colors. That's really important for consumers. People want to they want to mix and match and what's going to do well in their decoration, right, in their home environment.
But this has been just a few breeders on Earth who had hens and chicks as kids, basically, and have turned these things into these incredible garden decorations. Almost, they look like flowers. I mean, if you're looking at them, they look like individual flowers in different colors. You can blend them in that way.
You can blend them in. You could lots of ways. We used to make mixed container gardens. little shallow bowls about that big, and they were perfect because you could put a couple of hens and chicks and a couple of other succulents, kind of mixing and matching plants, and you can put it on your table for the summer and just really low maintenance. The one thing they don't want is a lot of water.
You're right.
Which is really good.
Yeah, which is the thing people struggle with the most. This is the you
don't
can
water.
Yeah, don't water.
Pretty simple. Just
don't water it.
And then once, even out here in production, we're watering once or twice a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, barely watering them.
In California?
In California.
So this is one of my absolute favorite plants in the Sunset Plant Collection, and one that we've had in our Raleigh garden as a container, and then we're bringing it in the wintertime. Tell us about this Senecio.
Sure, so this is Senecio. It's called Skyscraper, and it is different than any other Senecio. It is strongly upright growing, low water.
Yeah.
I've got one at home here in San Diego County. I water it once a month. I'm the laziest gardener you'll meet.
Right.
And it grows upright like this. Mine's about 6 foot tall now. Just durable, low water use, and these beautiful white deco pots. It's perfect for somebody's backyard.
Yeah, that blue-green coloration against this white container is quite striking. One thing I want to point out about this plant, this is in the Asteraceae, or the aster family. So it's it's more related to a coneflower than it is a cactus. You know what I mean? Like you would think about this as being more related to a cactus, but it's not. It's the craziest looking aster you're ever gonna see. So we're gonna put this very fastigiate or upright habit. I mean, this got a lot of uses, I would think.
Yeah, for container gardening. We see it quite a bit here in California. Planted like exclamation points almost in somebody's garden. So they may use Lamandra, Platinum Beauty, and plant this, intersperse it with the Platinum Beauty. So you've got that strong architectural habit. I love architectural plants, and low water use, just ridiculously low water use.
And one of the things I'm really drawn to out here when we're visiting desert areas in the Southwest is all this blue coloration that you can get in this foliage out here.
Sure,
it just stands out.
Blue color is really important for us. You can see how bright, sunny it is today. So we love cool foliage colors, cool flower colors. So blues like what you see in Skyscraper.
And now for something completely different in Senecio, right?
I mean, if you were a homeowner and you saw what we just looked at, and you said, this is a Senecio as well?
Yeah.
No way, no way.
Yeah, right.
Look at that. It looks like a perennial. I mean,
It does, and the feel of this leaf is like, it's somewhere between, I don't know, lamb's ear and leather.
Yeah,
it's almost like a leathery
super
feel
thick,
to
but
it.
very sheeny and glossy and soft, and it's a touchable plant, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. So similar conditions, it's going to need to be on the dry side.
On the dry side for sure. Full sun here in Southern California,
Yeah.
And you know what this says to us? It says Merry Christmas.
It does, yeah.
I mean, it's perfect Christmas plant.
It is a perfect
and that's why
Christmas
we're selling
plant.
them now, right? We're getting towards Christmas time.
Yeah. Well, this one looks a little more like an aster would look, except for the color. It's not anywhere. It looks like it's going to send up a flower. Have you seen this one flower at all?
No, I've never seen.
I know Skyscraper gets a kind of an insignificant.
Yeah, it gets a small little white flower. Puffy little fruit on it. Seed pods.
This is such an interesting plant. We haven't tried this one yet. We're definitely going to try to get this one, back in Raleigh and have it be a house plant.
This would be a great house plant because it's low water, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, and you forgot to water it this month.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the more you water it, the worse it would be, actually. So perfect. So there are a lot of plants in the Sunset Plant Collection. We're obviously not covering them all. We're only doing like 11 or 12 or something in this video. But I definitely wanted to finish up with this one because this is such a unique looking pittosporum. Can you tell folks about this?
Yeah. So this is Pittosporum beach ball. There is another like variety out there which gets much bigger. So beach ball is probably about 4 to 5 feet high and the same across. Very globose, very compact.
Yeah, you can see that in the containers.
You can see behind us here, and the camera will pick up this beautiful sheen on the plant. It's gorgeous. So these are not to be confused with the Pittosporum tabaras, like Wheeler's dwarf.
Like we would have in the southeast, and like I would show off in the channel in the southeast.
There you go. Right? These are completely different. Yeah. So they're for the warmer regions, right? Or you could use them in a container in the colder regions, but they're really for California, kind of all the way across. They'll probably go as far as Texas, and that probably would be about it.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So they don't set fruit. They don't set any flowers. What you see is what you get. They don't like to sit in a lot of water. They like to be sort of well drained in their soil. They really don't need any pruning whatsoever. If you feel you need to prune your plant, only take off about maybe 2 or 3 inches, right? Because otherwise inside they tend to be a little bit woody. But all the foliage is on the outside. They're a USDA zone 8 to 9, something like that. So they're a little on the tender side. But they look absolutely fantastic. They speak for themselves. The name beach ball is very apt for the plant,
Right.
the shape and form.
Nice. You know, one thing I think sometimes we undervalue, people go shopping for plants and they've got to
yeah.
get the most floriferous thing, the thing that's in flower, the thing that's, but
Yes.
you do need something in the landscape that's kind of, this is how it looks year round.
It's evergreen.
And everything plays off of that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I think, you know, if you like gardening, you've got to like the color green, right? Because there's
Yeah,
so
right.
many
Yeah.
variations of green.
Yeah.
But if we grow this, what's really interesting, this will work well in full sun, but we grow it in 30% shade. The shade cluster is about 30% here, and it still performs beautifully. So shady spot, full sun spot, dappled shade spot. It's a very, very versatile plant.
Nice.
This is Pittosporum beach ball.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Nicholas. Thanks to Tom for covering some of these plants. I love to come out into the Southwest and see some other plants and see, you know, there's some overlap. I mean, we spent 5 days around Los Angeles and,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of overlap, but then there's some things that are very particular to you guys that don't take our wet feet necessarily,
Really cool.
or high
Really
humidity or the clay soils. It's really kind of fun to come out and take a look.
Yeah.
And you guys are working hard on a program that really helps people in lower water situations, or seasonal rainfall is what I would actually call it. You know, seasonal rainfall,
Yes,
where you
yes.
the spigot turns off and then it turns back on, and in between you've got to think about plants that will.
You
know,
do.
yeah.
You
so,
do.
Perfect.
And Jim, it's important. We love having you,
Yeah.
right? We're very busy growing plants, propagating plants. Tom is very busy out there all over America and all over the world
Yes.
looking for plants.
And we'll run into both of you
Yeah,
in many
so-
places across the country over the course of a year.
You will.
Yeah.
So it's our privilege to show you what we do for a living. So thank you.
Yeah, nice. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.